Hello, today is the 27th of January 2024, and Michael has put together a brilliant script for us going into the very foundations of our reality, subject to your point of view, being Christian, Bible believing, uh, faith based. What shall we say, a form of belief, or that being a worldly form of belief that has no faith in God whatsoever, thinks that this is a joke, and that all the Christians out there are goofy people that came out of whatever, and that's the sad life that we live. It's subject to your own point of view. And we were raised in this goofy world that, we have very little knowledge of history, nor what people held as their form of faith in the past. We have to study that all by ourselves to form our own point of view about it and take a look at all sides. And I think that's what Michael had mentioned in our last session that we did on this Science is the New Religion script. And I agree with them. We got to take a serious look at all of this stuff, whether it's, something we believe in or we don't believe in, doesn't matter. There are facts that surround all of it. And we need to form some kind of view of where we're going, Michael, in this present day and age. And I think that's why you're doing the script, and that's why we're gathered here on Skype today to discuss and to go through what you have studied, Michael. So thank you for your time. Thank you for putting this together. And I know it's not an easy thing sometimes, but I'll bear with it my best, and let's see what happens. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, Brett. Yeah, sometimes I think that the real reason for this happening is just your curiosity.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think it has much to do with me. I think you have some curiosity too, as well.
Yeah, do you see that I'm studying the things and I spend so much time on that, and I hope that somebody is at least trying to think for himself, or just trying to just research things and don't believe everything that some official government or some official states.
Well, that's just it, Michael. We're only capable of handling so much or studying so much at a time, and that's why it's so important to get together like this and to go through these subjects, because they're very misleading, actually.
Yeah.
Science is very misleading if it's done in the worldly sense, in the traditional sense, let's say.
I can only tell you that you will see, when this study makes progress, you will see that nothing was futile. Everything serves a certain purpose. Okay, let's delve into this. As I promised last time, I would like to take a look at all these people who are just claiming that the Earth could be... Can you help me out in English? Put in sectors, or what else? What would you explain?
Yeah, right. This would be the GPS. A latitude and longitude is a GPS.
Right.
Which is a global position system, yes.
Yeah. And so therefore they just try to divide every spot on the Earth, however it may like, according to their system, okay? There are some traps in it. Okay. So they try to divide the Earth. Let's just take the globe, because it would be much more easier to explain now. Although that would also be work, of course, on another surface. So you got lines of latitude here, horizontally, and you would have lines splitting the ball into certain parts of the ball, which are called longitude. So the splitting line between the latitude is called equator, and the splitting line, or the reverence of it all, would be called the prime meridian. But who sets the reference, Brett? You see, you can assume everything as a reference. You could also draw a line of this.
Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, that's what you recall from memory.
London.
Yeah, sure, but you see that why did they did not use the United States, for example? The reason is quite obvious, because the States, they are the new world, yeah, so to speak. The new world. Officially, it has not been discovered until Columbus, although we know from a former session that it has been confirmed, at least on Wikipedia, that Leif the Lucky, has been journeyed to some east shore or what else quite some 500 years ago. So there was known that there was a kind of another so-called continent, because continent means a continental continuous landmass, which is North America and South America combined. So this is just not by accident and not randomly, but somebody has decided, okay, it's the United Kingdom where the reference is. So what is latitude and longitude? It's quite obvious. 0 degrees would be then the equator, which would be the equal amount of north and south. That would be 0 degrees. Everything further north would be then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, until you get to 90 degrees. Or a rectangular, when you see that from that perspective. The same goes for the south, of course.
Or you could say a right angle, yeah.
A right angle, yeah. So, same thing with the latitude. Same thing with the longitude. What is it now? Every time I have to longitude and latitude. That's the latitude. Okay, longitude is vertical.
Correct. Yeah.
So
up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. Up and down. Yeah. Up and down.
To and fro, Mike.
Please explain it in that a German could understand it. It's up and down. Oh yeah. Now I get it. Yeah. You see, this is the longitude here. This is vertically, or as Brett so claimed, it was up and down. This is the North Pole. This is the South Pole. Okay. So there is a Tropic of Cancer, which is then springtime, where the sun and all this stuff is just traveling here. And you got the Tropic of Capricorn, or Capricornus, the horned one, which is then 23 degrees and some 30 degrees south. You see, there is something going on here. So let's just assume that we just been busy with our 0 degree meridian. Our prime meridian, which is that red line here, crossing Europe actually. Congratulations. And a part of Africa. Don't fall for their spinning Earth theory. Earth rotations, they claim, or the Earth spin is the rotation of planet Earth, which is not a planet around its own axis, as well as changes in the orientation. The Earth rotates eastwards. Sure, like Ezekiel, when these people were facing east, where the sun goes up.
There you go.
Yeah, so sun worshippers.
Sure.
As viewed from the northern polar star Polaris, Earth turns counterclockwise. Of course, it has everything to be turned around, because Satan means the adversary, the one who turns everything around, the one who's always against God's order. So, of course, the Earth turns counterclockwise. Biblical verdict is that all is a lie. This is a science so called, because the Earth has no spin, it is not a planet, and the Earth rotates not eastwards. And also not counterclockwise, because once and for all, in the biblical system, it is just a geocentric system. That's why it's called...
But Michael, can I just interject that the biblical verdict might be, all is backwards?
That's even better, yeah. That's even better, yeah. Yeah, that's even better. But you see,
Right?
it's really simple. You only have to assume the opposite to get to the biblical truth.
Yes, exactly. So they turn the world upside down because they claim that, we turn the world because we believe in Christ, and Christ turned the world upside down first, you see.
Yeah, it is no wonder, because you see that is a sun religion. So therefore they have to turn everything around, that the sun is more important than the earth, when we know that in the Bible the earth has been created in the first place.
Well, yeah, and you know, there is that argument that one of our former friends has, that that the whole Trinity argument. Let's just put it in a nutshell. And we don't need to get into that at all right now. But the point is that what is freedom of conscience, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
You have the right to believe anything you deem fit, period. And if someone judges you, you have the right to judge them, period. So it's really, well, there's a point where people do take things personal. And that point is your belief in God. It's personal. Sometimes you get it wrong. And guess what? You take it personal because it is personal. It's your faith. Not my faith. It's yours. You own it, not me.
You see, when I started to do research, I wanted people to understand my point of view. And I think that given the amount of sessions that I did, together with you and together with other people and on my own, I can't be perfect. So there are some mistakes somewhere. But I think that give or take, if this leads to people to start their own research, I think then it's just worth the while. Yeah, so that it just, I'm not sitting here as an authority figure here and saying that it is about everything, everybody else is blah, 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 blah. No, I don't do this. I just present my point of view, and then you can start your own research. But maybe if I would not put the finger down to this or to that so-called fact, you would not have come across this, and that was happening to me all the time, that I come across some interesting video and I said, yeah, that's it. That was the thing that I was looking for to start my own research.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why we are gathering here on Sabbath here to just praise the Lord and just to let the people know that we are Bible-believing Christians who are just believing in Jesus Christ as the only path to salvation and to everlasting life.
Amen.
Amen. So, and God, our God of the Bible, our Almighty God, our Creator, said that He has created the two lights, the sun and the moon and the stars, on the fourth day, when the earth was already been set firmly into place, even including grass, even including trees. So, how interesting. He put the trees and the grass there without the sun. How could they exist without the sun? Okay, but that's not my concern at the moment. But you see that if you start to use the Bible, then you have to question everything, almost everything which is just going on in this world. So therefore, it is just, as Brad so rightfully said, it is just a belief. Do you believe that the earth is spinning, or do you believe that everything else is everything else is spinning? Yeah, it's also very interesting, because in Germany, somebody who's a jerk, you would say he's a spinner. But it's just it's
well, you know that it says in the book of James that the isn't it that the flowers spin? You know,
I have to look it up.
And that could be, you know, it's like the flower, right? It comes in season, it blossoms, and then it falls apart and dies, withers away. So everything has its season. It comes into full purpose, or you know what it was created for, right? So yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, it just, as you said so rightfully, it's just a belief. You see, this long exposure photo of the northern night sky above the Himalayas shows the apparent path of the stars as Earth rotates.
Right, and there's the error. There's the error. It's backwards.
Yeah, but you see that would be the same result. I once have read somewhere, I do not know if that quote is correct, that Einstein said you can't have any kind of reference because both systems are correct. You see, you don't have an absolute point of reference anywhere. Nowhere. If you are in space and if you assume that space is just turning or rotating, yeah, then it looks from your perspective, if you would be in outer space, as if the wood or the Earth would be rotating. And
but I thought we took care of that already because we said in the last session we have something called, what was the name again? I got to write it down this time. I keep forgetting the name.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Reification.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Reification.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, I'm writing it down. To reify, to materialize.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, there's also the clue with the fixed stars. Yeah. So the fixed stars, they claim they're called the fixed stars because the Earth is then spinning. Oh no, in the old times when the Earth was geocentrical, so everything else was spinning, they called the fixed stars because they appeared at the same position every day or every night, of course. Every day is not correct, although every day they would also appear, but you can't see them because the sun is so bright. So therefore they said, okay, these are the fixed stars because they're at the same position every day. Although that is not quite correct. When we come to this also, when we are just been dealing with the sidereal astrology, but okay, let's just assume you can have it both ways. Either the Earth is spinning or just everything else is spinning. And they overdo it in claiming that even the inner core of the Earth globe is spinning, yeah, as seen last time. And then the Earth is spinning and the solar system is spinning and the entire universe is spinning. So everything is spinning. So there is no absolute. There is no place of rest. Everything is totally in motion. They don't want you to rest. They don't want anything to rest. They have to have everything in motion. Isn't that the same strategy here with learning against learning? Oh, there is something, there. There are no absolutes. Yeah. Also the truth, yeah, does differ from time to time. We are not in the Newton explanation of science anymore. We are in the Einstein age, and I can really smell something coming up that AI said, oh yeah, I'm sorry, mankind, but Einstein was wrong. I can do better because I am an artificial intelligence, and I tell you that it is so and so and so. And Einstein, he did not know that because he's not so intelligent as an artificial machine. Yeah, Brett.
But who creates the machine?
Nobody would answer that question because that question will not be allowed by the system.
Right.
You have to obey to get your social credit points.
That's right.
I do not want to know what comes in front of me in 10 or 15 years, and it won't be any good. But I can't help it. I'm just the way I am, that my God created me, that I have a critical mind, and I'm just a critical thinker, and I'm not satisfied with all the explanation of this world.
Michael, as long as you're flashing up the United Nations symbol in front of our faces, we may as well admit that the United Nations would have never, ever, ever come about if it wasn't for World War I and World War II, which were very vicious in Europe. Very, very vicious wars in Europe.
Yes.
Very, very vicious wars in Europe.
Yeah.
And my brother, of all people, has been really fascinated by that and studied that immensely. So if you want to speak about war, you should really phone up my brother and talk to him about it because he's got very interesting points on that. But he's not at all well versed in studying occultism nor in the evil side, the evil realm of the Jesuits. Has no clue.
So I was
Never looked at the fourth vow or anything like that. You know, I do solemnly swear.
This truth, they will also be eliminated from time to time. It's very hard to get to this stuff anymore.
It is very hard because you have to endure all of the things that get in the way of dealing with that truth, that realm, because it's not very pretty.
I think it was much more easier to go to the truth some 5 years or 10 years ago.
Right.
I can only recommend anybody to download as much as you can. If you spend your money on something, then please spend it on books and hard disk drives. Because you don't know when that book is out of print, and you don't know when that video has been eliminated.
Or the website's eliminated.
Also, yeah. So looking at the Earth presented by us from the United Nations, which we know that is a construct of the Vatican after the Second World War, then I'm a little bit surprised that they don't present you a globe. But they present you an image from above, so to speak. So that looks...
A world map from the north, yeah.
Yeah, a world map from the north, or... It looks like a target here, targeting something,
right.
Targeting the north.
Correct. Yes, targeting the place where God resides.
The place where God resides. And also it has been divided into 33 segments that many people claim. And you see that maybe also no coincidence then, huh?
It's just a symbol. It's a two-dimensional symbol, okay? And it definitely has that meaning, yeah?
If you interpret it as a globe or as a flat earth, so that's not the point. The point is that it has been centered here in the north. Yeah, you don't come across any map that I know that anybody could see as a kind of help that is depicting the north in the center of that circle. Because that does not make any sense, because there are quite few people living there. If you see then the Earth depicted from the center or from the North Pole or whatever you would like to call it. Because
I can't remember the exact session we did, Michael, but we did a session where we were talking about the United Nations website. And we actually went right to their doctrine. They are Luciferian.
Sure.
To the core.
Yeah.
And so is the Vatican, obviously.
We have talked about longitude and latitude, okay? And now we see that the United Nations, they do not sect the Earth in longitude and latitude, but from the north, they're depicting it from the north. So they have quite another approach than any other regular map for the orientation of ships, planes, and what else, right?
Right.
And the second thing that comes to mind is here the laurels.
Yes, the Roman laurels.
The Roman laurels. So.
Yeah, the Iron World. What was it? Iron World or something?
Iron Core. Yeah, if you believe it. So the United Nations flag has the Earth divided into 33 sectors. The number of the highest degree in Scottish Freemasonry. Yeah, must be a coincidence then. If you believe in coincidence. So the main target is, of course, the North, or the North Pole on that regard, or the northern region, okay? So the site, if you would apply the biblical concept of Isaiah 14 on the map of the Earth, it would be in the north, okay? So that would be the main target of the United Nations. That would be in that small circle here, which is then here depicted 33, okay? This is the Security Council room of the United Nations. What do we find here? Security Council chamber. From that excellent video, Secret in Plain Science. I can only recommend that video. Very interesting. You see here a picture in the midst with the Vesica Pisces symbol, which is the female sex organ, which has something to do with fertility. So it's sun and moon also depicted here, or male and female here depicted here in the United Nations. And this is just not a small council. This is a Security Council chamber. And look what they have been here depicted. Oh, I would say that's a telescope and some scientists, are they?
Yeah, that's right. Microscope, telescope.
Yeah. Microscope, telescope. So macrocosm and microcosm. The totally wrong explanation
macrocosm.
of the pentagram, by the way, because the pentagram and hexagram will also be depicted as, that's about microcosmos and macrocosmos, which has nothing to do with that, actually. But, scientists investigating the macrocosm and microcosm. And somebody with a white horse. Interesting. And
where was the white horse in the Bible, Michael? Was that in the book of Revelation?
Yeah, must be.
Mm-hmm.
After the pale horse, then, huh?
Oh, there's a pale horse too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So, convincing they were building a new world, the Templars called each other frère maçon, or brother mason, and not Freemason. Later, this term would be anglicized into Freemason, which is another distraction in itself, because that is not the original meaning of the word. 33, orange sodomy. I'm not going into this. It has something to do with the vertebrae and all the other stuff. Of course, you can assume that United Nations been founded under the supervision of the Vatican. So both the Vatican and the Supreme Military Order of Malta, they have a permanent observer status to the United Nations, which means they are overlooking everything.
Oh, yeah, it looks like this is from the Vatican there.
Yeah. That's a pine cone from the Vatican, of course.
The pine cone, yeah. You know what that represents,
all
right?
this,
the pineal gland, right?
Yeah, all these several stuff.
See, they know what they're doing here, and they know
what they're doing, but the problem is that the majority of people do not know anything because they just believe everything.
It's esoteric, Michael. This is beyond the normal realm of humanity, so to speak. Humanity is a corrupt term.
They are sacrificing people, actually. Yes, so spiritually and physically sacrificing people. So the entire Inquisition and also the slaughtering of the Native American people, these are all sacrifices. If you call them Molech or Baal or Satan, you see that's the same thing. It's the same thing. You see that when you have Canaanites who are cannibals, so they are just offering and sacrificing people and children to Baal or Molech, you see this has been depicted in the Bible, that the pagan religion often are just sacrificing.
Rama means high places. So this is, constantly taking, God's word and twisting it upside down. This is happening.
Yeah. So I'm not going into everything here. So the number 33, so hence the 33 sections of the United Nations depiction, is directly related to human enlightenment, health, and true gnosis. Gnosis just means knowledge, but it is a Greek word, and therefore it is also not the knowledge in the Bible. It is science, so-called, because science means knowledge.
Exactly. It's ancient. Yeah, this is the G in Freemasonry we're speaking of here.
Yeah, and 33 is also the number of the vertebrae.
Yeah, that's right.
And also the number of Jesus Christ's years, because Jesus Christ is the Son of Man.
Right.
Yeah, there is no serpent power that rises up the spine through the Kundalini. This is just an alternative esoteric occult stuff. Yeah, so people just like to be gods. That's a common thing of all these pagan religions. Either they serve an outside god or millions of gods like the Indian people do, so the Hindu people do, or just they want to be gods for themselves. So everything else is a distraction. If it is chakra or alchemical awakening and gnosis, these are all just in distraction paths. Yeah, so you can't imagine the level of deception nowadays. Everybody who has some kind of knowledge from the esoteric, from the occult, of course, somebody called him Gnostic warrior, a martial arts black belt, expert in Gnosticism, the occult, etc. Of course, these people, they believe in an alternative version of God, either in a demiurge or just they can play God for themselves. So, they want to get rid of all the absolutes, like Newton's inertial frame of reference. Einstein has been prolific, important for the fact to get rid of absolute space and time. So, therefore, he invented, or somebody said he should come up with the theory of gravity, which also Newton has been described in other terms, to bend space and time. So there are no absolute. Space is not absolute anymore. Time is not absolute anymore. There are no absolutes to get rid of God's creation and God's almightiness. Therefore, it's very interesting that there are some fixed things that they can't change that easy. They are fixed stars, are luminary points, mainly stars, that appear not to move relative to one another against the darkness of the night sky in the background. Interesting. The fixed stars include all the stars visible to the naked eye other than the sun. Approximately 6,000 stars are visible to the naked eye under optimal conditions. The term fixed stars is a misnomer because those celestial objects are not actually fixed with respect to one another or the Earth. It's like vacuum, huh? So vacuum means nothing, but the word explains there is something which does the nothing does something, because the nothing means vacuum bends space time. And the fixed stars are not fixed. Yeah, so every time you come across, you said, yeah, that's it, they tell you, no, it's not an absolute. Yeah, so it just depends. The meaning of the word depends. Depends of age, culture, what else? It depends. Those objects appear to move so slowly in the sky that the change in their relative positions are nearly imperceptible on human timescales. Yeah, and that's the reason why they call them fixed stars, I guess, huh? Because they do not change in their relative positions on human timescale. Therefore, you have to come up with a science either depicting things extremely far away that the human eye can't cope with, or just extremely long ago that the human time scale or human time span cannot grasp. Yeah, so that is quite easy. Due to the large distances of astronomical objects, human vision is unable to perceive the three-dimensional depth of outer space. You see, in outer space, they claim there is a three-dimensional depth of outer space. But everybody talks about the flat Earth. Oh, that's very interesting. So that does not fit, huh? Historically, the fixed stars were often believed to exist attached on a giant celestial sphere of firmament. Oh, a firmament. Where do we know this from? Huh? Look to the Bible. Philolaos, 5th century BCE, proposed a universe which had as its central a central fire invisible to man. That's interesting because now, at the age of the Enlightenment, when we are here, and with all our science, they claim that the Earth itself has a central fire invisible to man. Could also be a philosophical concept, I guess. So these are just all these Greek philosophers and Greek so-called scientists who are proposing a similar thing with or without a central fire, and cosmos centered and all the stuff. I don't want to bother you with all the stuff, but Plato's universe was centered on a completely stationary Earth. Eudoxus was geocentric, surrounding by 27 rotating spheres. Aristotle stated that everything was moved by something and started exploring a concept similar to gravity. Hey, he was a little bit before Isaac Newton, I guess. He was one of the first to argue and prove that the Earth was round. His cosmos was geocentric with the Earth at center. Aristotle believed that while the planets rotate, the stars remained fixed, hence the name fixed stars. And now comes Mr. Aristarchus of Samos, who proposed an early heliocentric universe, which means with the sun in the center, which would later inspire the work of Copernicus. Yeah, that's very much the point. The massive distance had to be assumed due to the fact that stars were observed to have no parallax, which can only be explained by geocentricity or immense distances. You see? Geocentricity or immense distances. Now you might have a glimpse why I'm just saying, you see, they have to come up with these immense distances which create a parallax too small to be measured. And of course they can measure that with certain instruments, and you have to believe it. It's like every study that they're putting out in medical terms to you. You have to believe it. So I'm not going into this fixed stars because it would be another 1 hour session, I think. But you can look it up. That's just Wikipedia here. First Greeks, as many as other ancient culture, thought of sky as it was a giant dome-like structure only a few meters above the highest mountains. The myth of Atlas tells that this titan held the whole heavens on his shoulders. Yeah, like Atlas shrugged in Ayn Rand, which has another meaning, but he's now having a globe on his arms. Which would mean what? He's got the whole world in his hands, literally. And also that Atlas, that mythological Atlas, that's the reason why you call that big ocean between America and Europe the Atlantic Ocean from Atlas. So we are faced here with a pagan concept already when you look at all the names. Europe has something to do with Zeus, Atlantic Ocean has something to do with Atlas. Aristarchus offered the first definite discussion of the possibility of a heliocentric cosmos, so means the sun at the center. He made an inaccurate attempt to measure the distance to the sun, but sufficient to assert that the sun is much bigger than Earth and is much further away than the moon. We talked about that before. And his conclusion was that the minor body, the Earth, must orbit the major one, and which is totally disputable, at least. Ptolemy's methods, written in his armaments, were accurate enough to keep them largely undisputed for more than 1500 years, but by the European Renaissance, the possibility that such a huge sphere could complete a single revolution of 360 around the Earth in only 24 hours was deemed improbable, and this point was one of the arguments of Nicolaus Copernicus for leaving behind the century-old geocentric model. They have to put everything in their frame of trying to explain God's creation in their physics, in their science. Yeah, they can't think of wonders or that something is maybe not explainable. And that's why what I come across all the time. People think that, oh yeah, but it just violates this law of gravity and this and that. And I don't think that God's creation is bound to man's physics. Yeah, the God that I believe in is almighty. He can do wonders.
There you go. See, it's the opposite again.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's backwards thinking that we can actually dominate the creation.
Yes.
No.
And
God
explain everything,
dominates
that we are so smart that we can explain the entire creation, you see?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so we can be as gods because we can explain everything.
Well, there's some real difficulties here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Big one.
Yeah, so Copernicus thought of a sphere of immobile stars. Yeah, let's call it fixed stars, please. Immobile stars. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the fixed stars are not fixed because vacuum does not mean nothing. Yeah. So it's just the same thing around. You see that every time it means something else, and you can't put the finger to something else. Yeah. It's the Earth that moves, and that's completely incorrect because you can assume on both points because you don't have any absolute. And parallax is not a proof, but also another philosophical concept because you can't verify their measurements. And if you go into this, I wish you very good luck because you will need much time. And I have looked upon it and I said, okay, I know what I see and I know what I believe. Yeah, so they believe that everything that moves further away must create redshift, and they think that everything which been just appearing nearby or just nearer, closer to you, has create a blue shift. That's what they think. And I don't know, because you see that is very interesting, because red stands for fire and blue stands for water or cold. Interesting. Must it be the opposite, red? Something which moves further to you, like a sun, must be hotter. Yeah, but they claim that it's red then, it's a redshift when it is just moving away. Isn't that something?
Yeah, right. I get it.
Yeah?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, they twist it around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just I did not realize it at first glance. Now I realize it. I say that makes absolutely no sense.
No, I agree with you.
Okay, so then let's just move on. Thomas Henderson in Cape Town, South Africa, where he measured the parallax of one of the closest stars, Alpha Centauri, relative to the solar system. You see, there is the error. Once in the beginning, the real motion of a star is divided into radial motion and proper motion. Science so-called. She blinded me with science, with the use of complex word. Edmund Halley announced his discovery that the fixed stars actually have proper motion. Therefore, he was rewarded by a comet bearing his name. And therefore, if you are rewarded in a satanic system,
right.
Yeah, it's just in no way it is a compliment. In fact, they claim the night sky today looks very much as it did thousands of years ago. So much so that some modern constellations were first named by the Babylonians. Aha.
Right, right.
Yeah. The phrase fixed star is technically incorrect, but nonetheless it is used in an historical context and in classical mechanics. Yeah, it's hard to change the use of words who are just thousands of years ago. Yeah, but the problem is your frame of reference. Yeah, so where is your reference? Reference is the Earth. So we are living in a geocentric system here because our reference is the Earth. That's the only place known to us where life is possible.
Oh, here we go. Okay, Michael. Yes. This is your realm.
Yeah, it's just this is just astronomy. This is just the brother of logic. Yeah, you see, the brother of astrology. The fixed stars are just some man-named constellation of stars which appear to have a certain form. Yeah, so that the people would then line them up and explain them, and that looks like a Capricorn, that looks like Aquarius, that looks like a fish, that looks like Aries, that looks like a Taurus or a bull, that looks like a Gemini, so that looks like a Leo, that looks like a Virgo, that looks like a Scorpio, so that's what they were doing. Not only in Babylonia, of course, but also in Egypt, and they were just venerating the stars, and every time that the king was just demised, so that they died, they looked at the star and said, okay, that he will materialize as a star in his night sky. Because the star reigns in the night. And the night, of course, is the time where the light is missing. So it's also the time, the dark time, and also then when somebody's dying. And they thought, okay, they would be materialized in the night sky. So you can go to astrology and astronomy from the Babylonian standpoint, from an Indian standpoint, from an Egyptian standpoint, from a European standpoint. Every time you got several differences with it. It's a pure mess, actually. But only that you have seen that with the fixed stars, we are not touching the subject of astrology, astronomy that much at the moment. Because this is just slowly building up here. You see that when you know that the pyramid explanation is as being a tomb or a generator, it's very lame in my humble opinion, because they simply align the night sky as it appeared at that time when the pyramids allegedly had been manufactured. That was some 2,500 years before Christ. So it's quite obvious it has something to do with the Orion correlation theory, because Orion incorporates Sirius or Osiris. So the god of the underworld. It's just always the same. So that's the alignment here of the Great Pyramid, or the pyramids itself. The Orion belt superimposed on the Giza pyramid complex from the left to the right. That would correlate then. So that is the Orion correlation theory. And that's also my theory why the pyramids are being seen as a world wonder. Not only why people cannot explain the manufacturing of it, but they resemble a pagan belief. Simple as that. Same goes for the Sphinx. The Sphinx lion shape is a definite reference to the constellation of Leo. Hence the fixed stars. And that the layout and orientation of the Sphinx, the Giza pyramid complex, and the Nile River are an accurate reflection or map of the constellations of Leo, Orion, specifically Orion's belt and the Milky Way, respectively. And I would have another explanation for the Sphinx, but I'm not going into this again. You see, our worldly science explains us everything has been before 10,000 years ago and billions of years ago and all the stuff. A date of 10,500 BC is chosen because they maintain this is the only time in the precession of the equinoxes when the astrological age was Leo and when that constellation rose directly east of the Sphinx at the vernal equinox. That is a bold assumption because you do not know what difference it makes before the flood and after the flood. About the movement of everything. You can't tell this. You simply don't know. Sometimes you have to say that, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question because I simply don't know. Yeah, this is just an assumption, but they sell it as fact. So fixed stars are not fixed because they have a small movement, but you don't see it in your lifespan. Therefore, people say these are fixed stars because when they were 10, they saw that in the same spot as they were 50 or 60 years of age. Okay? So this is repetition here. It is very interesting when you see that it is like the old phrase, as above, so below, that these fixed stars also have a resemblance on the land masses or even continents on the Earth. So that also can serve as a certain kind of reference frame or as just an orientation for ships, for example. Yeah, that I found extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Yeah, and then you got all this mess with all the ecliptic and golden gates and the Pope and all this stuff. Yeah. The 13 could also be a reference when Pope Francis baptizes one of 13 babies and he was set into power on the 13th of March in the year 13. Could also be the reference to Genesis 3:13 bread.
Oh, wow. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Yes, so therefore there are two seeds. Afterwards in Genesis 3:15, the Lord God says, I will spread enmity between thy seed and your seed. So there are only two seeds and not 13 satanic bloodlines and all this stuff. I'm not going into this. So the movement of these so-called fixed stars, which are not quite fixed, they're only fixed in your lifespan, is called precession. And it's interesting because it just moves 1 degree in 72 years. I know that was a little bit far off now. They need, for 1 degree, they need 72 years, the fixed stars. Okay, that's called precession. It's a very small, slow movement. Interesting, 72, huh? 72 number in religion means the number of languages spoken at the Tower of Babylon, according to later tradition, not the number of disciples by Jesus, but he sent 70, not 72. The 72 disciples of Confucius. Though, now it gets interesting, an Egyptian creator myth wins a 72-second part of each day of the year from the moon in a game of thralls as a favor to Nut, the sky goddess. The good god Osiris was enclosed in a coffin by 72 evil disciples and accomplices of Set. 72. Wasn't there a Quran, a Holy Quran, where they expect 72 virgins in paradise? I guess so. 72 virgins. It's not in the Quran. It's a mythical figure. So it's wrongly attributed. There are no 72 virgins. You see, that is just internet meme. You have to question everything. In Cao Dai, the number of planets between hell and heaven. Cao Dai is a Taoist epithet for the supreme god of a Vietnamese religion I have never heard of. In Islam, the number 72 is the number of sects and demon denominations that are doomed to hell, according to Hadith. The number of demons sealed away by King Solomon in that forgery of the Lesser Key of Solomon. 72 demons. So, 72 years you need for 1 degree for the fixed stars means 25,920 years, approximately the length of the so-called Platonic cosmic year. So therefore, the fixed stars are not on that fixed position in the night sky they used to be, for example, at the manufacturing of the pyramid. And therefore, 72 is a very interesting figure. 72 Jewish scholars, 72 angels.
You know what? 72 is twice 36. And 36, if you add it up, is 666.
Yeah.
When you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way to 36. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Kabbalah, 72 is the number of God's name. So you can come up with everything. But precession means really that it is just a change in the orientation of the rotational axis of a rotation body. I'm not going into this because the Earth does not spin.
Well, 36, there's 36, was it astrological things, not, I'm trying to think, houses, or what is it? Michael, you would know.
12 houses there are. There are 36 deacons.
Deacons,
each 10
That's
degrees.
Deacons,
each 10 degrees, which sums up to
We're
an
not
entire
talking about
circle.
biblical deacons here.
Yeah, but now they claim the other way around. They claim that the Earth goes because the Earth would be spinning and would be on a tilt. The Earth goes one such a complete precessional cycle in a period of approximately 26,000 years, or 1 degree every 72 years, while it is the fixed stars who are then moving at that degree. You see, it's always the other way around. In our belief, in our biblical belief, of course. So I'm just skipping it here because I haven't touched the important parts of it. Yeah, you have so many zodiacs, and I'm not bothering you with all the stuff here. I can only tell you that these fixed stars, they have a profound meaning in the Indian astrology from India. They call it the Vedic astrology. But if you dig a little bit deeper, you see that the Vedic astrology has much been influenced by the Western. And by whom could it be, Brad, in the Middle Ages, that they have been influenced? Who went to Asia and brought them mathematics and
Francis
astrology?
Xavier.
Yeah,
Francis
right.
Xavier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Jesuits. Yeah, so I'm not going into this, but they are just seeing on sacrifices there, on both solstices, sacrifices were offered to their gods, and it's just a total mess there. Okay, so they have a sidereal zodiac who has been fixed at the star Spica. Spica is the brightest star in the constellation of Virgo, and one of the 20 brightest stars in the night sky. So they have a reference point. So everybody has a reference point. That is interesting. Have we not started with the reference point of the prime meridian going through United Kingdom? But you see that now our world wants to get rid of any reference point. For example, in 1885, the expression inertial frame of reference was coined by Ludwig Lange in 1885 to replace Newton's definition of absolute space and time, so to get rid of absolutes. And then they came up with gravity and space bending and once again, this hilarious concept of now it escapes me once again, Brad, what I asked for you 2 weeks ago. What was it? This quantum physics. Quantum physics. Yeah, that's it. Now I get it into my head.
Quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics, quantum physics, yeah. In this picture, the curvature of this 4D-dimensional space is responsible for the way in which two bodies with mass are drawn together even if no forces are acting. This curvature of space-time replaces the force known as gravity in Newtonian mechanics and special relativity. And that is a hilarious, incorrect example. because it had nothing to do with gravity, that something has been attracted to the center of this constellation here. It has everything to do with mass, but nothing with gravity. Gravity means the attraction of a smaller object or a lighter object by a larger object or by a heavier object on a level, but not falling. That's the same time again. And it is just unbelievable that I think it was more than 10 million people have clicked here, and everybody says, oh yeah, I would like to have a physics teacher like him. You don't have to believe me. You have to think for yourself. Think for yourself. That this is an incorrect depiction of gravity here. To explain, because gravity would also occur on a level, so without any difference in height here. So if you
right,
yeah, so it is just it's just total BS
it's
here.
a
But
theory.
People are just falling for that.
It's theoretical.
Theoretical, yeah. Yeah, they come up with my own experiments, the proof of the special relativity and all the stuff. Yeah, you have to believe it.
Yeah, I just think of it more as childish, Michael. You know, you can try and explain it any way you want to. What's the truth? That's another thing.
Yeah, that's another thing. The problem is that you keep busy with all the stuff, and I'm trying to push it and push it and push it, and you can't do it all. Yeah, so you see that people are just contradicting. No, gravity is not a force. Gravity is a kind of illusion. There are no gravitational fields.
Well, Michael. And all of this has to do with eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now they're coming with the same idea of, that was your word.
Oh, reify?
Yeah, thank you. Reification of space, yeah? The answer is curved space-time. You see that space itself has a power. Yeah.
Well, I have to thank you for the research, Michael, and finding that word. That is an incredible. I'll have to listen to that session again and really wrap my brain around it, because it's still not processed fully here.
Yeah, you see that this gravity has some effect on things that can even bend space. The time is not linear, but you see that you need more time, because everything is not just linear, but it's just being distracted by gravity, or not gravity, because it just curves space-time. And you see that you can come up with everything. You can come up with dark matter. We will go into this also. Yeah? Airplanes, for example, he says, always try to fly the shortest route between cities. Yeah, they do. Since the Earth's surface is curved, the shortest path doesn't look like a straight line. Yeah. Yeah. That would also occur on a quite alternative model on the Earth's surface, but I'm not ready to go into this. That same word is called geodesics. According to Albert Einstein's theory of relativity of gravity is not a force, but a curvature of space-time. Yeah, so there are no absolutes anymore, which causes masses to move along geodesic lines in mathematics described by Riemann manifold. Of course, that is too long ago or just too far away that you can prove it. You have to have a computer, and with a computer, you can do everything. Nowadays, you can create your own universe on a computer, of course. A geodesic is a curve representing in some sense the shortest path or arc between 2 points in a surface. Sure. So, therefore he says, okay, if you walk down to the United States, from the United States to the North Pole, for example, why would you use the North Pole as a reference? I can only guess. Yeah, you see that it depends just where you are, and it depends on the curvature of the so-called globe. And they're coming up with that extremely interesting reference of astronauts, sure. And then you know that this is just another distraction program. Earth curves space-time around it. You see, the Earth is so powerful that it can curve space-time, but it's so weak on the same time that the moon can cause the tides. Sure. My. Yeah, you see, they all come up with the false examples of gravity here. I haven't seen any proof of gravity so far. Yeah, this demo is misleading. Yeah, right. Yeah, this is the Earth, that is the Sun. In general relativity, there is no gravitational force. We have learned in quantum physics that there is no gravity, and there is gravity at the same time because everything is possible in your imagination. Yeah, and now you got your reification on that prime example sentence here, Brett. Matter tells
space-time how to curve. Space-time tells matter how to move.
Isn't that something? The only thing that I can add to that is an old song from Huey Lewis and the News, which is called I Want a New Drug.
Yeah.
That's your drug. Your drug is science. You believe everything. You're totally consumed by that. Yeah. So this is a reification of space. Yeah. Every kind of your thought, of your mental activities has been set into matter. Yeah. Space and time and God, everything is matter. Yeah. And that matters because just Satan has been given all the material stuff. So he has to create everything so that the human eye can see it and grasp it and just wants to have it. Yeah, he said, we are at rest on the surface of Earth. That's a contradiction, because the Earth is spinning in this model, but of course we are at rest because the ball is spinning, and I don't get any of this stuff here. Yeah. Are you watching this video in an inertial frame of reference? Yeah. You are accelerating and there is no gravitational field. Yeah. And that is a lie because you're not accelerating. And there can't be a gravitational field because there are no gravitons. These are just highly educated people who either believe the system or just fooling people deliberately. I don't know. And I don't care. Because I don't care about their sources anymore. And I won't go into all their nitty-gritty anymore. I only want to have the truth. Yeah? You can have thousands of formulas. If your basic assumption is incorrect, then everything else is also incorrect. It's incorrect. I'm sorry. It's just never ending, Brett. The problem is that the proof of all these concepts are made inside their frame, their people who have been initiated. For example, Henry Cavendish is a Freemason as well as Albert Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you are in their frame, but they are setting the frame, and they don't tell you. They don't tell you that it has all been set up by the Catholic Church in the end. From the Vatican Observatory. And then, if you succeed into deliberately fooling the people, you get an asteroid or a comet. That leads us to our small problem with latitude and longitude. If we got it on a broad scale in the so-called space or universe, where we can't trust them, why trust them on the smaller scale when it comes down to the Earth? You see, the Earth has been divided into west and east and into north and south. And that prime meridian is 0 degrees. And it goes straight to the United Kingdom, or better said, to London, or, if you want to be precise, through Greenwich. Greenwich is a town which means green harbor or green trading place. The Royal Observatory was founded here in 1765, and then you got a big reason why they have chosen Greenwich or United Kingdom, because I think that United Kingdom was one of the major powers in the 17th century. In October 1885, 41 delegates from 25 nations met in Washington, D.C. for the International Meridian Conference. They decided to adopt a single-word meridian, passing through the principal transit instrument at the observatory at Greenwich, at the basis of calculation for all longitude and a worldwide 24-hour clock. Hence, of course, the path of the sun, because the Earth is fixed. The Greenwich notion passed 22-1. San Domingo, interesting, that's the Holy Domingo, voted against it. France and Brazil abstained. And now you got the following. The Earth has been divided between west and east at 0 degree prime meridian in the United Kingdom. So that means west of the United Kingdom is really west, and east of the United Kingdom is east. But that seems to be incorrect. Why? Because here in Germany, and we are just, if you look to this, Germany is here, in the middle of Europe. We would be in the east, but we would define ourselves in the west. Western values, huh?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Clearly, you would define North America or United States, where Brett is located. You would define
it
it
would
as,
be Jerusalem, where it should be the 0 meridian.
for example, yeah.
Right.
But it's interesting that at the same time we speak about Western values and we speak about here in the West and all the stuff. Yeah, that we have a Western culture and all the stuff. Yeah, we speak.
Because we're west of Jerusalem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my problem here. Brad is absolutely correct. It should be 0 degrees, should be Jerusalem or Israel.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, because look what it is. What's been said here?
Yep.
The Middle East.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, why? Because everything apart or right from or east of United Kingdom is east. Yeah, but so then we would also be east. So it does not make that much sense.
It doesn't. No.
It doesn't. So okay. So the Earth has been split between west and east and between north and south, regardless of the shape. Yeah, it has been split into 4 parts. And the Bible speaks of the 4 parts of the world also.
The 4 corners, yeah.
4 corners, yeah. So meridian, what does meridian mean? The cartographic sense of a great circle or half circle of a sphere passing through the poles is attested from 14th century. That is interesting. So that demands to see the world as a globe with a north and a south pole. Figurative used tend to suggest a point of highest development of fullest power. Interesting, huh? When you know that London serves as the financial head of the Vatican. With their City of London Corporation. Interesting. So, Greenwich in South London is the Greenwich Meridian, 0 degree longitude and Greenwich Mean Time. The town became the site of the royal palace, the Palace of Placentia, from the 15th century, was the birthplace of many Tudors, so of the royal family, including Henry VIII and Elizabeth I. So that shows it before, because it was A, United Kingdom, B, there was a royal observatory.
Mm-hmm.
The place Greenwich is first attested in Anglo-Saxon Charter of 918 and it appears at Gronewich. It is Greenwich in the Domesday Book of 1086 and Greenwich in the Taxatio Ecclesiastica of 1291. The name means green wick, and I thought it was a witch, indicating that Greenwich was it known as a witch town or emporium from the Latin vicus. From the Latin vicus, Greenwich, interesting. In ancient Rome, the Latin term vicus, plural vici, designated a village within a rural area, a pagus of the neighborhood of a larger settlement. But it's interesting that it is derived from a Latin name vicus. The word vicus was also applied to the smallest administrative unit of a provincial town within the Roman Empire, and I found that even more interesting. So 0 degree means the dividing line between east and west. That is also very interesting because there was somebody from the Vatican who was the Pope there in 1493 and he divided the world into west and east also with his papal bull Inter Caetera, a papal bull issued by Pope Alexander VI on the 4th May of 1493, which granted the Catholic monarchs King Ferdinand of Aragon, hence the Lord of the Rings, and Queen Isabella I of Castile, all lands the west and the south of a pole-to-pole line 100 leagues west and south of any of the islands of the Azores, etc., etc. Interesting, huh? So the papacy, they have divided the world into west and east as well. Or, in other terms, between Spain and Portugal. So, who is robbing what? Yeah, if Spain robs this land and then Portugal may rob the other part. No, this is just the red parts are Spanish and the Portuguese, they get the blue parts. So it is not a west-east, but it's just a split between Portugal here and between Spain there. Interesting that in Greenwich have something to do with the sea, because they have a church there which is called Our Lady Star of the Sea. Aha.
Mm-hmm.
And they got some interesting stuff with spiral stairs, which reminds me of serpentines.
Oh, it reminds me of the Vatican Library.
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah.
In 1989, I was there, yeah.
My.
In the Vatican Library, that is.
1989, I was just an apprentice.
Yeah, you know the famous spiral staircase in the Vatican Library, right?
Yeah.
I have pictures of it. I've taken pictures myself of it with my dad's Canon A1.
Was that the... Oh yeah, my
I
favorite
did,
camera. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had that nice lens too.
Yeah.
It's really, architectural kind of lens.
So this is the Royal Observatory of Greenwich with a time ball atop the octagon room. Why they have an octagon and why there is a ball, that I leave it to your imagination. But it's really interesting, huh? It's really interesting symbolism here. Really interesting.
Actually, wasn't that half of a hexagon, Michael? Not an octagon, because you have the
hexagon is
sides.
6 and octagon is 8. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to look at it again, but
no, I just thought it would be very fitting to come up with a hexagon. Was it a hexagon or an octagon?
I think it is actually.
Oh, now you got me. I can't remember.
No, but still, to be hexed.
yeah, but I can't remember now. Was it a hexagon or an octagon? I can't tell.
Oh, you just passed it. Yeah, there it is. Oh. Oh, you mean in the text? Oh, octagon room. Oh, it's an octagon room. I stand corrected, but when you look at the image, Michael, you see how that's a hexagon shape with the it's half a hexagon on the top of the architecture. I thought you were in reference to the architecture. I'm going, wait, that's half of a hexagon.
No, I thought it would be very cool room. If they have an octagon room, because that room means that's.
Oh no, it is an octagon. You're right. Okay, never mind.
No, I thought it would be very interesting, because that would be close to the sign of Anu, so that we can do as we please.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We rule all the world, with the globus Drusiger, and we can do what we want. The octagon room, so that was my initial thought.
We have Satan's permission,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Satan's blessing, if you want to say,
So the prime meridian is an arbitrary chosen line. Aha! You see? An arbitrary. So, because if you depict a globe, where is your center? It's arbitrary. Arbitrarily chosen. Somebody in power says, okay, that's it. No discussion. 22 against 1 vote. Yeah, that's it. That must not necessarily be the West here. You can also choose another line of 0 degree.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Together, a prime meridian and its anti-meridian, the 108th meridian in the 360 system, interesting, forms a great cycle. This great cycle divides a spheroid, like Earth, into 2 hemispheres, the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere, but it's just arbitrarily chosen.
Right.
So somebody takes God's creation and says, I decide where is west and where is east.
Sure.
While God clearly defines it said towards the east, because that is where the sun is rising. So you had the direction already. You had the direction. You only would have to take, it says he arbitrarily chosen, but you only would have to take the path of the sun and to take then the center of it, or the highest point or what else. That would be the 0 degree. That would be much more clever. But arbitrarily chosen, I don't believe it. I think that has something to do with the sun, with the path of the sun. That would only be logical, because also that what is it? Vertical is longitude, huh? Longitude it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that longitude also serves for the time zone, so it would only be in reference to the sun, right? So it is not arbitrarily chosen. It has been chosen for the path of the sun. Then that would make much more sense.
Right.
So, Gerardus Mercator in his Atlas Cosmographicae used the prime meridian somewhere close to 25 degrees west. Aha! In the Azores in the Atlantic Ocean, you see? And there's nothing to do with the axis of rotation. It has something to do with the path of the sun. Come on, we are living in a solar system here. We are dominated by a sun religion of the Roman Catholic Church, so it has something to do with the sun. Most likely. Most likely. So that is just only a minor thing. That is just a minor thing. Yeah, Mercator had a magnetic hypothesis. Interesting. In 1634, Cardinal Richelieu used the westernmost island of the Canaries, 19 degrees 55 arc or minutes west of Paris, as the choice of meridian. So it is just by their choice. In the 18th century, most countries in Europe adapted their own prime meridian. Between 1765 and 1811, Neville Maskelyne published 49 issues of the Nautical Almanac based on the meridian of the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. Aha! Maskelyne tables not only made the lunar method practicable, they also made the Greenwich meridian the universal reference point. Oh, and they told us before that it was arbitrary. Now it is Maskelyne's table. A lunar method. I don't have to go into this very deep now, but I just want to point it out. You see that it has some purpose here, and it divides at least it divides the coordinates between west and east, right? And it divides the world into time zones. In October 1884, the Greenwich meridian was selected by delegates representing 25 nations to the International Meridian Conference held in Washington, D.C. Why would they choose Washington? Okay, to be the common zero of longitude and standard of time reckoning throughout the world. So therefore it has something to do with the sun. I don't know why they don't admit it. It's always the thing that they omit it, which is interesting, I think, and not the things that they are admitting. I never see the sun here. I always see, it's time and it's this and that. No, it's the sun. Come on, it's the sun. The telescope that defined the prime meridian, Aries transit circle, Aries transit circle, and the dawn of the universal day. Oh, the dawn, universal day. Oh, my, I got a hard time swallowing that pill here. Or maybe Aries was on a mission, huh? Yeah, don't know. Yeah, but you see that universal day starts at midnight, right? Where does the day start in the Bible?
When the sun comes up.
I think when the evening starts.
Depends on if you're a farmer or not.
Yeah, but you see that the evening and the morning with the fifth day, the day never starts at midnight. Because clearly midnight is defined as being the middle of the night, which it isn't.
Right. It's like the beginning of the year in January.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make
in the spring.
Absolutely correct. It doesn't make any sense, because you see that midnight is not the
end of March, right? That should be the beginning of the year. But no, we must have Christmas and New Year's.
Or at least in the beginning of March. You see, in the meteorological way, from the weather forecast, they take March as the start of the meteorological, so of the weather year. Midnight is a time of day. It's arbitrary, you see?
Right.
Solar midnight is the opposite to solar noon. But the start and the end of the day has nothing to do with midnight usually, because midnight is defined as 0000. But the middle of the night is not 0000. It depends then on your longitude, where you are, what's the middle of the night is. You see that in winter, the night is much more longer than in summer. I have been told. What do I know? Yeah, usually I see that the sun is not shining that much as in summertime. When you see, then the night is much longer in winter than in summer, and it depends also on your location. So midnight is not midnight. Yeah, it's also another term which is totally incorrect. I do not know why in English it is not been mentioned here, because I know that I went into German and it was clearly been stated here. Midnight in German is Mitternacht. It's a time where the sun, relative to your location, is on the lowest point of the at the sky. Yeah, usually it's been 24 hours or 0 point hours, but it's also ghost. It's also the night, the time where the ghost hour here. Yeah. And here, in the night from the 9th to the 10th of March 2005, for the city of Cologne, it was at 0.44 minutes and 33 seconds was the middle of the night. So midnight is not midnight. Every time, you see. Midnight in the Bible is also a very critical point. And it does not speak that midnight the day starts. So I think that we can agree upon that.
Mm-hmm.
So I came across a very interesting website. The website is called Torah Calendar. Calendar Restoration Project is a historical work in progress to restore the creation calendar of Scripture. Based on the whole counsel of Scripture, it is evident that the creation calendar is a 7,000-year calendar modeled on the 7 days of creation. It is composed of 140 jubilear cycles of 50 years and the alike. It's a very interesting site. It's called torahcalendar.com. It's very interesting. Then you see what the time would be and the date would be according to the Bible and not according to all that secular stuff there. Yeah, so that is the site which I'm about to enter. And you see here the live Jerusalem time, the hours here, because the hours are defined and the hours where the sun is then shining. Yeah, these are just Hebrew hours, and this is very interesting stuff if you would like to take your time. A Hebrew hour is defined as 1/12 of the time between sunset and sunrise. And that is also the biblical concept then. Yeah, then sunrise and not 0.00 or midnight. It does not start at midnight. Also not in their system. Back to the script. That's it, yeah. You got several calculators here. Hebrew days.
Well, there you go. You don't have a fixed time then. It's 1/12 of the daylight then is an hour. 1/12 of the evening darkness is the hour. So it's more abstract.
It's not so easy as if you would consider that universal time and universal location. You see, it's much more easy.
Yeah, Roman time. Yeah,
Roman time. Yeah.
So
January is Janus. You see, July is Julius.
Roman world.
Augustus. Yeah, you see, you got it everywhere.
Welcome to your Janus year.
Yeah.
Do you know the double-faced year?
Yeah.
That's what we live in, double-faced.
Yeah, nobody is using the Torah calendar, I think, no? Yeah.
No, well, I think there might be those that do, but it's not accepted, is what you're saying.
Sure. Yeah, so
it's never.
Yeah, no, but how many Christians?
Can you imagine how elaborate our time?
How many Christians are just worshiping?
Would be? Think of how complicated a watch would be. You'd have to set it to 1/12 of the daylight hour and 1/12 of the evening darkness hour. Yeah, that would be quite an elaborate thing, Michael.
Yeah. On the other hand, you see that who's worshiping the Sabbath, who's holding the Sabbath. Yeah. So the most easy feats that cannot be done in this world. Yeah. Sabbath is
Oh, yeah. Well, who recognizes Sabbath except for the Jews, right?
yeah. When I claim that I hold the Sabbath, they misjudge me for a Jew.
Well,
Yeah.
and that was done in what? I forget the year now. 300 something or
Yeah, the Council of
500 something.
Nicaea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Council of Nice or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, the Sabbath or Shabbat has been defined from Friday sunset until Saturday sunset.
There was another one too. There was a council.
Laodicea.
One of the ecumenical councils.
I
Yeah,
thought
Laodicea. Right.
Laodicea. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just only have the German name also in memory, so that's.
Oh no, that's great. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Council of Laodicea. Look it up on Wikipedia. Study it for
Mhm.
yourself. You'll see that they call us Judaizers, Michael.
Yeah.
Those that worship Sabbath, but you're not Jewish. See? Oh yes, but we are Jewish because if you read the Bible, it says we're grafted in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see that there was a shift between the Julian calendar and then Pope Gregorian calendar on the 14th of October. Right. I wonder what that means. Maybe I have to look it up for some Roman saints or what else they're venerating on October the 14th. And that's just been depicted here in Daniel 2. Daniel 2:21 speaks of.
Oh, yes. And he changeth the times and the seasons. Yes.
That's what he does. Yeah, and in Daniel 7, he just, in Daniel 7:25.
Yeah, and he thinks to change times and laws. Yeah, that's right. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Yeah, think to change times, but he can't change the times. It's just that the people just follow their system.
That's the difficult thing for all of us to recognize, you see, that we're just being sheep. That I don't like that term. I'd rather say, we're just lemmings or whatever. We're just following orders.
Yeah, but who speaks of Jubilee years and all the stuff? Nobody speaks about this. Nobody.
No.
Almost nobody.
Yeah, it's been long forgotten.
Yeah, long forgotten, yeah.
Right. On purpose, of course.
Yeah.
Because it's the Roman world. Welcome to the Iron World.
Yeah, God said here that he would use the lights for the times and seasons. Yeah, so the moon and the sun. Yeah, he said that.
Right.
I can't remember now which book of Genesis it would be, but yeah, the Torah calendar can only it's very interesting calendar. Yeah, when it comes down to eclipses and feast days, very interesting calendar. Yeah, but you see that once again back to Greenwich, they had a telescope that defined the prime meridian, because with the telescope comes from Italian telescopio from Galileo 1611. I said, oh, that is interesting. I didn't know that. Which means from skopos, Greek means watcher. Ah, I see. Haha. So the telescope of the Royal Observatory in Greenwich from Eris Transit Circle and the dawn of the universal day. Ah, what's the story in this?
I found it. It's Canon 29 of the Council of Laodicea that says Christians must not Judaize by resting the Sabbath, but must work on that day, rather honoring the Lord's day, and if they can rest, then as being Christians. But if any shall be found to be Judaizers, let them be anathema from Christ. Yeah, which Christ? The Christ of Rome, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
And even then you had to work on that day, you see? Even worse.
All right. Exactly. So there you go. Turning everything upside down, huh?
Yep. So they have defined 0 degree, and now hold on. A transit circle of Eris transit circle from the observatory using the telescope coming from Galileo is used to make 2 measurements: the time at which a star crosses the meridian and as it travels from east to west across the sky. Aha.
Mm-hmm.
I had a remark implying movement of stars or movement of the Earth to get rid of absolutes. One has to determine arbitrarily that everything is moving, thus no inertial system, which then would exceed in being heliocentric system. But what do I know? You see that a star crosses the meridian as it travels from east to west across the sky. A star. And I thought it would be the sun. Huh. What do I know? But they used the telescope, and it is a star. So it is not arbitrarily chosen. Interesting, huh? So I do not know what the truth in it is. Certain stars whose position in the sky was precisely known were designated as clock stars. In this way, observations of stars with the transit cycle were used to set Greenwich Mean Time, and that told us that it was arbitrary. Interesting. Due to the movement of Earth tectonic plates, the line of 0 longitude along the surface of the Earth has slowly moved towards the west from the shifted position by a few centimeters. You see, again, there are no absolutes.
Oh, man.
Everything must be in motion. You see that what is correct today is not correct tomorrow. Every time you get a new definition, or every day you get a new definition of the truth.
Well, Michael, you know the word hypocritical. That's exactly what this is. This is a study about hypocrisy.
Yeah.
All of this.
Yeah, you see, there's an International Earth Rotation Reference System Service. Oh.
So you can't be simple here. That's the
No.
thing. When you study science, it's all sophistry.
Yeah.
Everything sophistry. Everything.
Yeah.
You got to make it more sophisticated. You see, I'm blinded by science.
Yeah, you see, defined in 1992, the prime meridian of Venus passes through the center peak of the crater Ariadne. You see that there is hilarious. Huh? It's totally hilarious. I have to skip it because you get nuts on their stuff. Yeah, you don't have any value. You're just fascinated by their illusions and imaginations. At the moment, we are just simply in this study here about that they want to just divide the world into east and west and north and south from their arbitrary point in London. What coincidence they use London, huh? Couldn't they use any small city in Portugal or what else? No, they had to use London, so come on. Yeah, that's not arbitrary. I think that's divide and impera. That's north against the south. The old scheme of Rome. Yeah, so like the American Civil War started on the 33-degree parallel. Yeah, so the only organization behind enemy lines is the Red Cross or the civil department of the Sovereign Military Knight of Malta. So the ones are shedding the blood and the other ones are just collecting it. Just make a International Red Cross of Geneva, the city of Cernunnos.
Oh, yeah. The Swiss.
Yeah, the Red Cross and the Red Crescent. What is the Red Crescent? It is just a moon symbol from a moon cycle. Crescent moon. That means can also mean a blood moon. Can also be the shedding of blood. Also, that could also mean a sickle here, in my humble opinion. Yeah. So no wonder they have all the informations on their hand because they are just using the Red Cross as their one source of their information.
It's interesting though how I'm sorry, what's it called? I'm sorry, the Ark landed in Mount Ararat.
Mountains of Ararat, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mountains of Ararat in Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a much more. It's interesting, my brother went to Turkey and he knows a little bit about that, and that they're very much more aware that that was a reality, that there was a real flood, and there was an ark, and it landed there, and that's kind of where we've had the great reset from God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it was true. Yeah, they had nothing and they were happy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, different times.
Mm-hmm. They had something. Yeah, they had much animals, much food, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, but yeah.
So what I would point out, you see, that if you think of your Earth as in the core of iron, yeah, so with magnetism and all the stuff, with iron, which is Mars, as a so-called planet which revolves and all the stuff, you see, they can make you believe almost everything. Blue, red, water, fire, Jupiter, Mars, political puppet show. Yeah, Muppet show, no? So it's a Muppet show. Your entire political system and all across the so-called globe or the Earth is a Muppet show.
Mm-hmm.
Divide and ruler, divided emperor, is a motto, divide and conquer, which is very interesting because the use of this technique from the Roman Empire meant to empower the sovereign to control subjects, populations, and factions of different interests who collectively might be able to oppose its rule. Niccolò Machiavelli identifies a similar application to military strategy, advising in his book, and now hold fast, The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you see that the book of Niccolò Machiavelli has the same title as Sun Tzu. And I could bite into my own behind that I have forgotten to mention that in the Bruce Lee sessions.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is another hint that The Art of War by Sun Tzu has been scripted by somebody from Italy, huh? Because it has the same title. Yeah, and it's not now the Black Pope decisions to publish Sun Tzu prior to the outbreak of the revolution and blah, 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 blah. But it has been published, a book, The Art of War, in 1521 and not in 1772 or 1770 somewhere. So, but 250 years ago, it was a book called The Art of War by Machiavelli. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you see that 1782, we have talked about it in the Bruce Lee sessions. The Art of War, translating it into French, 1782. Mm-hmm. The Art of War, Sun Tzu. The Art of War, Niccolò Machiavelli. Must be a coincidence then. Divided Impera, divide and conquer, was utilized by the Roman ruler Julius Caesar, where your July comes from. Strategy is attributed to sovereigns, House of Habsburgs, etc., etc., etc. Sir Francis Bacon wrote the phrase separa et impera. And I don't want to go all in the stuff, but I can tell you that it's the old thing, north against south. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Very interesting. But it's not our topic here, the American Civil War. Yeah? And the Earth is a bulge, it's not a globe, what people tell. Yeah? So that in their latest model of the Earth, so 2024 version, yeah, it has such a bulge here. Yeah, it has a polar high. They are quite small, and this is big fat. It's like a Big Mac. Huh? So that's a Big Mac of the Earth in our recent system. Yeah, so this is old. This is a globe. This is a ball. This is incorrect. So this is more like this actual Earth. I don't know what they will come up with in 10 years. Maybe it got a ring around the equator. Huh? Brad, that was a joke. I hope you got it.
Right.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah.
So you got the Arctic cycle, you got the seasons here with the Tropic of Cancer, Equator, Tropic of Capricornus, you have the Antarctic cycle, and of course the Antarctic cycle are just by accident 66.33 degrees. Sure, it's just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
Must be a coincidence then, no? Yeah.
0.33. Oh, 3 plus 3 is
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. So this is the Earth as a tropical zodiac, Cancer. Zonas climatas, the climatical zones. Yeah? Equator is 0.23 north, 23 south, the path of the sun, or the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricornus. You see, Capricornus, December and January, is freaking cold.
Yes.
And Cancer is June, July, sweating all over the place. At least we're talking about the northern hemisphere. Hello, Brett, because you are here and I am here. So we are quite close when it comes down to the
Latitude?
Latitude. Thank you. In Germany, it's much more easier. It's called Breitengrad und Längengrad. So it's wide and long. Yeah, so it's just more easy.
Right, yeah. Wide and long. Okay.
Wide and long, yeah. So this is just North Pole, South Pole, equator, 0. So in the equator, everything is 0. Yeah, that's why my old astrology teacher tells me, that he supposed that the people on the equator are quite relaxed. Because they don't have to care about so much things that the people on the extreme poles have to care about. Shelter, food, temperature, climate, heating, and all the stuff. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's what we are going to do soon. We are soon just comparing all the stuff together with the things that I think will come up in the future. And just leave it this way at the moment, just a few minutes maybe. The equator, of course, that's the dividing line. It's not the meridian here, which goes to Greenwich, which would be here. Yeah, but it's the dividing line between north and south. They're not in war. Yeah, but usually it's very interesting when you see how big the land is on the north and how less land there is in the south. Or in other terms speaking, how much people are living in the north comparing to the south. It's not equal. The majority of people are living in the north and the minority of people are living in the south. I think we can all agree on that. Equator comes from Latin equalizer of day and night. But that can't be, because you see that that would be a biblical concept, because you see that the equator of that then would be the biblical day would start. But equator means just that everything which appears here on that line, then day and night are the same length. Or duration. Maybe duration would be better. From Latin, make equal. When the sun is on the celestial equator, it's spinning counterclockwise. Yeah, so no, the earth is not spinning, but the sun is just coming. Sunrise is in the east, moving towards the west. Only the sun, the earth is fixed. So, when the sun is on the celestial equator twice annually, day and night are of equal length. Okay? Yeah, so that's the equator. That is the equator. And the equator has its own land. Congratulations.
That looks like Babylon or something.
No, that is a globus.
No, but this looks like what was that town in Babylon?
Ur?
Can't think of. Yes.
Yeah.
But
the problem is, you see that according to their latest technology or latest science, this isn't the right size of the Earth. You see, I'm not making anything up. Yeah, so it must look like this. If the world would be a ball and it would spin, that means that the speed would be much more intense here on the equator.
Yeah. Right.
Which would then lead to the next problem, that what about all the winds and storms? And therefore they come up with the theory of the atmosphere is stable, and come on. Yeah. But you see that they would have to use that kind of a, maybe it will soon be a baseball. Who knows?
Yeah, you're saying Saturn.
Yeah, or Saturn, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or Jupiter, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. This is the equator, and they just depict the globe here. Right. Yeah. And this is very
Wasn't
interesting.
Jupiter the mascot of
Head
trying to
god of
remember
Romans,
the
yeah.
god.
Yeah, but
Who is it?
Jupiter, not Saturn. Saturn was the god of death and of harvest.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was all right. I got it wrong. I forget all this stuff. Mythology, right?
And then it makes sense, because you see that if you depict the world strictly from the North Pole, and if it is flat or a ball or a bulge or a sphere or what else, you see the equator is just the center or the middle point between the South Pole and the North Pole, okay? So that's the equator. That would be the equator. They have 5 circles. 5. Yeah, so 5 different segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and therefore, according to my mathematics and logic, the third one would be the equator. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So this would be the equator here.
Right.
Yeah, so that would be the equator. But the United Nations. Using the language of symbols, the logo of the United Nations states the mission of the intergovernmental organizations focusing on promoting peace and international cooperation. Meaning and history. That was the old symbol. It does not have 5 rings. Oh, how come?
Wait a second. Can we say that instead of saying mission, say mother? The mother of the intergovernmental organization. Yeah. What kind of peace? When they say peace and safety, they shall find sudden destruction. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, it is still centered in the north. Has 1, 2, 3. So it would not sum up to 33, right?
Oh wow, weird.
Yeah. So in 1946,
45 to 46.
yeah. Then they have changed that symbol into the today's symbol, and then with the light blue color, blue for religious, of course. So
why 1945? If I remember correctly, February of 1945. That's when they bombed Dresden.
Yeah, that was the end of the Second World War, or the dropping of the so-called atomic bombs on Hiroshima, on Nagasaki. Yeah, 1945. Yeah, and it is located in New York, of course.
Really, that happened in 1945 too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to remember that that it happens here. The headquarters of the United Nations actually are in New York, so the New York. Yeah, but from the Scottish Rite, you have 33 segments. Yeah, so
yeah, right. Oh, dreadful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always come across, the Earth just with the equator, if you would exalt the equator or just superimpose the equator, then it would look like Saturn, huh? And
yes.
And that's what I see in the symbol of the United Nations. Yeah?
Yes.
That's crosshairs.
That's right.
The name United Nations, coined by United States President Franklin Roosevelt, who was a Freemason, a brother Mason, used in the Declaration of Nations on January the 1st, so the beginning of the new year, the Roman year, when blah, 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 blah. The scope of the UN's work spans the globe. That is a bulge, people. The Earth is not a globe anymore. It's a bulge. It's a baseball. And its overarching mandate is to address social, economic, and emergency needs. It does not represent any national or commercial interest. Yeah, and you believe it. That's why I inserted here the globus cruciger. Because why is just very simple, yeah? Where is that cross been mounted?
Its overreaching mandate. Oh, where did the mandates come from? What is the etymology of mandate anyway? Be interesting to know.
Yeah, but where is the cross mounted here?
Oh. On a ball.
Yeah, but where located? If that would be
the top, in the north.
In the North Pole, yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, what is a cross anyway?
Yeah, a sun symbol. So the UN claims, UN claims to be autonomous organizations but we know that is just a forgery here. So this is the old symbol. The logotype was created by a group of people headed by Oliver Lincoln Lundquist. But in 1946 they came up with the hilarious idea to split everything into 33. Both the original logo and the current one featured a map of the world as seen from the North Pole. In the first version, the projection of the map extends to the 40th parallel south, while the current projection extends to the 16th parallel south and includes 5 concentric circles. The meaning of the design seems to be perfectly clear. Why the olive wreath is an ancient symbol of peace. And I said, what?
Whose peace?
Yeah.
Are we talking about here?
Yeah.
The Pope's peace.
Yeah,
yes.
the peace of Mars. Yeah, Mars Pacifier. Yeah, who says peace by subduing your enemies.
God of war. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, the god of war. Yeah, so the art of war. Yeah.
Exactly.
So why the olive wreath is an ancient symbol of peace. It's a desire for the organization to extend its influence to the whole world. Yeah. So the olive wreath, at the same time, Wikipedia claims the olive wreath was a prize for the winner at the ancient Olympic Games.
Right.
It does not say that it is a sign for universal peace or what else.
It's a sign of victory.
The sign of victory, yeah. In the
Yes.
ancient Olympic Games, there were no gold, silver, or bronze medals. There was only one winner per event, crowned with an olive wreath made of wild olive leaves on a sacred tree near the Temple of Zeus at Olympia. Congratulations. Yeah, so it's so easy, you see. That is research from 1 minute. And you know that they are simply lying to you. This is just that the United States has been governed by one nation or by one organization, yeah, who's trying to subdue all the other nations, and they are just depicting it because they are using here an olive wreath, which is not a symbol of peace. It is a symbol of victory. Napoleon is master peacemaker. Pacifier. My. RF Pacifier. Yeah. Mars as the protector, defender, pacifier, aggressor, or avenger. Yeah, great. That's
Pacifier.
Mars.
Pacifier.
Pacifier, thank you.
Means he makes them passive.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you have to remember yourself now what you said.
You know what helps to pacify populations? Didn't they discover this in World War II? Adding the what do you call that crap in the water they put in there? Fluoride, yeah.
Yeah.
It calcifies the pineal gland, yeah.
Program cover for the 1896 Olympics with olive wreath imaginary to connect to the ancient Olympics. Great. Has nothing to do with peace, huh? It's not a peace game, Olympia. It's about winning. Yeah. So, I don't see a 3D globe and I don't see a peace symbol. What I see is they're targeting the North and trying to win all the nations, because that olive wreath is around almost all the nations or all the continents or all countries or what else. Right? That is my interpretation of that symbol. Yeah, that's a symbol of victory and not a symbol of peace. That means that every country which is incorporated in the United Nations has lost his own sovereignty. Yeah. So, and the Vatican has a permanent observatory status to the United Nations. And Vaticanus, among others, Vatican means the hill of prophecy in Revelation 79. So it's the one beast, which are just ruling from the seat of the Vatican, and is just present observing all the nations on the earth by its observer status of the United Nations, because it just clearly depicted by this olive wreath and other symbols and other hints. The Vatican, the cult of Cybele and the king of serpents on the hill of prophecy. The word Vatican literally means divining serpent. I can't back that up. And is derived from Vatis, diviner, and can serpent. I have a hard time finding this, but I know that Vatican or Vatican Mount means the hill of mountain of prophecy. I also listened recently to a study of, I think it was called with Babylon by Tom Frass, and he mentioned that too. Mons Vaticanus means the hill of prophecy. The site then became a sacred mount, marking by a standing stone to honor the Earth Mother, goddess Cybele. That is interesting. So now you know that unofficially, at least, that the Vatican is just honoring and worshipping the Earth Mother, goddess Cybele. And that's what also got me thinking about geology, because it's all about the Earth Mother coming. Yeah, feminism, it's all about the Earth Mother. Cybele ruled over fertility, mountains and fortresses, and their crown was shaped like a city wall. Her followers called her the Mountain Mother and offered sacrifices to her mountain peaks. Cybele became the official protector of Rome from the beginning of the imperial period. And the temple known as the Phrygianum was built on Mons Vaticanus in her honor. Ah. My. Cybele has different faces, a gentle, civilized human side and a serpent aspect representing her darker and more destructive nature, similar to the light and darker side of Venus, which is known as the morning star in the occult. Her name is related to the Latin word sibillare, meaning to hiss.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, serpent energy.
Kind of like, what comes to mind, Michael? Medusa?
Yeah, but there you are also in your Kundalini energy. Yeah, the 33 vertebrae spine and all this stuff. Yeah, serpent energy refers to the sacred life force. Oh, that is total BS here. Yeah, but this is a occult concept, of course.
Yeah, serpent energy.
Yeah, and those invisible electromagnetic or telluric currents that crisscross the Earth. Interesting. Haven't we learned about magnetic fields somewhere? And upon which all important sacred sites of antiquity were built. The serpent also symbolizes the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. From the earliest times, the Mons Vaticanus had all the elements of a sacred site. Its name means oracle or prophecy. So, the mountain of prophecy. Of course, where do you go? To the mountain of the seven hills, the city of the seven hills. Yeah, come on. Symbology, simple. City of the seven hills. Hills means God, seven means God's number. So, there are the gods, residing the gods. It's like the Mount Olymp of the Greek.
Look at that face on that.
The face?
That statue. She doesn't look too happy.
I don't know.
She looks like she's scouring.
I have a hard time going in all the stuff here. But you can look it up for yourself. Yeah.
Oh, how disgusting.
Yeah, you see, that's always the same. Cybele had a son called Attis, born on the 25th of December, who preceded Jesus as a crucified hero god, which is also incorrect because Jesus has not born in December. Oh. Yeah.
Well, they made him that way.
Yeah, they made him that way, yeah.
Yeah, they made it that way, yeah.
In 37 BC, the Roman Emperor Caligula transported a rose-colored obelisk from Heliopolis in Egypt, built by Pharaoh Menkares, to honor the sun. Heliopolis,
Coagula, yeah, right.
Yeah, means the city of the sun. Yeah, and you see that Roman Catholic is just the sun religion. And
see, Heliopolis, that's another name for Minneapolis. That's where I was born.
Really? No.
In Egypt.
Come on.
I got to make fun of it.
Yeah, a little bit of an exaggeration here.
Well, you got the Twin Cities.
Yeah, okay. I never been there.
You know the Twin Cities?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's called Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
In 312 AD, the Emperor Constantine decided that Roman Catholicism would become the official religion of the Roman Empire. My, these people. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big shift was that under Christianity, the Great Mother became God the Father. Yeah. You see, they are worshipping other things that people really think. And this is just a random article here. Yeah, St. Peter's Basilica shaped like a serpent. Oh, there's so much similarity here. Yeah, their sun disk, sign of Anu, mark of Cain, keyhole shape, and all the stuff.
Boy.
Vatican is full of occultism. Full of occultism.
Full of serpents.
Full of serpents, yeah.
Snake pit.
Yeah, look at how these stories are interwoven: the Earth Mother, the Sun, the Serpent, the birth, desert, resurrection themes, and the communication between heaven and earth. And you got it everywhere. And this session will end now, because this all the stuff that we know. Why do they have a sun disk or an obelisk in the center of a sun disk? Why do they have a sundial on the front of St. Peter's Square? Yeah, because they are worshipping the sun. So quite easy. Yeah. On Sunday, the obelisk acts as a sundial with its moving shadow crossing the white marble paving stones of the piazza, and every Sunday people from all over the world flock to worship at this ancient and powerful sacred site. Yeah, but it's just an abomination to the real God of the Bible. The audience hall is shaped like a serpent. I think that nobody can deny that. Yeah, we're speaking from the mouth of the serpent.
Yeah, they had to fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah. Like many other logotypes, that of the United Nations has been accused of having a sinister hidden meaning. Take, for instance, the fact that the map projection is given as if it was seen from the north. Aha. The New Jerusalem, where the Antichrist will supposedly rule, is situated on the sides of the north. Conspiracy theorists also find other signs that the emblem actually symbolized the northern army conquering the world before the Antichrist comes to rule it. They don't actually explain whether it makes any difference which army in particular will conquer the world. Remark, what about the surface? What about 33? What about the laurels? What about the olive branches? Come on. Yeah, the real stuff they won't never, ever, ever, ever reveal. Or when it is too late. Yeah? So it's just, it has nothing to do with peace. It has nothing to do with peace. It is just a frame to keep the people distracted. Yeah. The flag of the United Nations does not mean peace and unity. Look into your Bible. Look into your Bible. From this on, we will not go into any scientific foundation or science or code, but we go into our own study when it comes down to what will happen according to Matthew 24 in the world, and what are the possible hypotheses when you just combine the Bible together with the history, with the experience that we got more than 100 years on our back together, Brad and me, and so that we will try to explain Matthew 24 and the Bible in a quite different way. I think that nobody has looked upon it. Maybe that's of some value for you, and I hope that we have done and put out some prolific points. Thanks so much for having me. Looking very much forward to the next session when it comes down to Science is the New Religion. Signing off, and Maranatha.
Thanks, Michael. You know, I was thinking about this before. Remember that Bible verse, Psalm 19:1?
The heaven
declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork.
Yeah.
And that's a simple way to put it. That's the purpose. The heavens declare the glory, and the firmament shows his handiwork. That's the purpose. It's not to go out in the universe and conquer. But that's what they want us to believe. That's the program they want us to believe. And Michael, thanks for pointing out, the simple points. And, it's really all about simplicity, I think, at the end of the day, Michael. It's not complicated. It's super simple. Super, super simple. And I'm sure I got some things to learn along the way. I'm not infallible here.
I think that I'm really eager. I'm really curious this time to hear your opinion about the stuff that I found. You see, that I would like to double check it with your help and with your experience, what I have come across, so that you see that everybody is biased. You see that, and I'm just biased to believe the Bible. And there are some things that I may overlook, that I may...
You have to be without a brain not to be biased. See, that's what they want to do. They want to make us into just, we had no brain at all. Just fill it in with whatever you want, empty vessel, right?
Mm.
We're not empty. Some of us are full to the brim and, full of it, sick of it, with the rhetoric and all this nonsensical.
I just needed all the
topics.
sessions to set the foundation that you now know what a meridian is, what an equator is, and what kind of
Right.
of a Earth core they use, and all the stuff. And now that we got all our stuff together, now we can go into the things that has occurred. And then we can do for the first time ever, I think, for the first time ever, we can go into prophecy, and then we can sort the things out, and we have then the most highly likely hypothesis of what will happen. That there will be tribulation. I think that is out of the question. That they will try to shut us down is out of the question. That they will persecute us, that has all been promised in the New Testament, but it has to fulfill, because otherwise that would not be according to the timeline, but we all look forward to the second coming of Christ. That's the only thing that we are really looking forward to. There is not much to expect from this fallen world here, except that we can give away some hints and some Bible quotes and some belief and some faith in the Bible and in the Word of God and in Jesus Christ as the only begotten Son of God, that you really see that the word is ticking, ticking, ticking. And it's not ticking according to the system that you and I have learned in the school educational system. So I'm really looking much forward to the next time. I'm really eager to see Brad's opinion about it when he's been bombarded with stuff that he has never been experienced and never been heard anywhere before. So I'm really eager to do this, not because I am such an outlandish guy, but because I was focused on Matthew 24, and I got deeper and deeper and deeper in it. I said, wow, that is the most simple thing to do. We will not go into the book of Revelation that much. We will go into the New Testament. We will go into according to what Jesus had said to his disciples personally, because I think that's much more easier than to have all the symbolism in the book of Revelation. But there is much coming on. I'm so eager to do this. I would never do this, and I would never ask about the patience of listeners and all the stuff if I would not be convinced that it is of much value in the so-called last days. So thanks for having me, and signing off. Maranatha.
Yeah, Michael, I get struck every time I get out of the house and go visit. I was in Wilmer, Minnesota, a week ago, and I had to go to the hospital where my mom was at, and she was transferred to St. Cloud after that. But when I was in Wilmer, I was driving home, and I look off to the side, and there's this little church nestled right next to a bar, and it says End Times Glory Church, and I think, wow, that's kind of odd for a name, isn't it? End Time Glory. I mean, well, I guess there's a point to it, but
what do we expect when people don't get it when Jesus speaks of the last days? We see that they don't know that the day lasts 1,000 years. You see that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
well, no, and that's another thing is that we have end times, but to say that they're glory filled, well, yeah, I suppose, but I think it's more of what Michael's speaking of is this tribulation that's coming. That is really something we should pay attention to. Yeah. And of course, the earth and the heavens are God's handiwork. Yeah. I mean, that's what we covered here in this verse. It's No, the firmament. Okay, so the heavens declare his glory. Yeah, so it's really the heavens that are his glory. I mean, that's going to be the wonder. And I thought that was really interesting. We touched on that last session, Michael, about this word, about the reification, to materialize. So could it be that the elite know that this is all just a play on our conscience? Again, freedom of conscience. And they're really pushing it, Michael. I mean, the whole agenda is really something when you think about it. And you know that NASA's up to something. They have to be.
NASA is complete distraction as well as the flat Earth is distraction. Because
Right.
if I follow my idea, if I follow my path, then it's always the things that they omit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I go to the places and I go to the things that they don't mention on purpose. You see, the Vatican, for example, they is quoting certain phrases from the Bible, and if so, they are explaining it incorrectly, of course. But they will also miss out some chapters on purpose. For example, the book of Acts.
Mm-hmm.
Simon Magus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That one, and then, you also have, Simon Magus is a big one, for sure. Oh, there's so many, Michael. We can't cover it all, and it's been a long session, and I've got to really get going.
I know.
I'm
I'm thankful that you have taken the time, but now we will proceed, and next time you see from that on, it will be much more relaxed because we do not have to focus on all these technical difficulties here, but we will start with Matthew 24 next time.
Well, and this is a bunch of confusion, and Babylon is all about confusing people. So nothing's changed. It's the same strategy. This is the problem. It's sophistication and overly complicating everything. Blinded by science. Yeah, this is definitely where we're at. So. It's good we're going through this, Michael. Looking forward to next time already. Okay. And maybe we call it quits today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So hope to see everyone next time, God willing. Catch you then. Bye-bye.